watch Givers and Takers Part 1, go back and look at that video. But if you did, this is Part 2. Givers and Takers. Decenter those takers. That means remove the investment of your time and energy from them. Those takers, they position themselves in your life because they know that they're going to get things from you, and they know that they're going to gain from you. They feed off of you. So you need to decenter them. That means that you no longer invest in them. Once you peep, oh, this person is a taker, then you start to pull back. Peep it and then change your ways. Flip the script. Remember, it's never too late to reinvent yourself. Never too late to reinvent the wheel. So that means if you peep something, you don't have to stick with it just because you've done it. You don't have to continue to do it. Switch it up. Flip the script. Change up on them. Protect yourself. Another thing that you don't want to do is to seek relationships as distractions just because you're bored, because that could get you taken advantage of quick. If you get a strong urge that someone is not supposed to be in your life, listen to that urge and take heed, because that is God trying to protect you. Some people are nothing but distractions for the time being. They're not meant to stay in your life. So if you notice that you're picking up relationships as a distraction, let those go. They're meaningless. Another thing is prefer to be unliked. That's protection. I don't know why it's so important for some people to be well liked. Everybody's not going to like you. And guess what? People that do like you, they're not guaranteed to continue liking you, because people are fickle and they change their minds all the time. As a matter of fact, you can do one thing and people will change their mind about you. And I see usually givers in this predicament because their role is the giver. So the takers, they're used to getting things from them. They're used to getting their support. They're used to using their resources. And then the one time that they say no, or the one time that they deny them to that taker, they're the worst person in the world. They'll talk about you like a dog. They'll slander your name as if you've never done anything for them. They're dangerous. So that's why I said being well liked, it's only temporary in most cases. It's only temporary. And let's just be honest, most of the time it's based off, for most people, it's based off for what you can do for them, what you can provide them. That's what the like is based off of. So at the end of the day, you don't need it. It's not important. Overgiving and oversharing. What's the price? Not the price, but what's the prize? Let me ask you, what's the prize for enduring or overgiving in the end? What's the prize for it at the end of your life? If you don't know the answer, it is nothing. I don't know what goes through some people's head. Like, you're not going to be here to attend your own funeral. And that's even if someone thinks enough of you to even throw you a funeral or have a memorial service for you, for that matter. But I've seen people pass away. I've seen people who have left this earth, both young and old. And all of the people who have used them or depended on them, they've went on with their life afterwards. They've adapted. They've moved on. And guess what? They've moved on to the next person who is giving to them, who is doing for them. So there's really no prize at the end of this for enduring or overgiving. And that is what I want people to grasp and embed it into their heads. Okay? If you're doing something for recognition or a prize, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Be that giver that gives from the heart because you genuinely want to give. And as I stated in the first video, give it to other givers. Do not give it to a taker, because that person will drain you, and then you'll become resentful because you're not getting what you thought you would, or what you thought you should receive in turn. Or you're not getting gratitude. Because basically, if you're a natural giver, that's all you really crave is gratitude. You don't ask for nothing else. You give from the heart. You crave the gratitude. But when the person acts ungrateful, then that is what upsets you. So stop doing it. Now, the oversharing, what I usually tell clients about oversharing is let the silence be awkward. Because some people are not talking because they're waiting for you to overshare, or they're waiting for you to reveal things that they can use against you. They're trying to learn you. So when you let that silence be awkward, that's a game changer right there. I heard one time that sometimes people are waiting for you to tell on yourself. And I like that because it reminded me of how I felt about the oversharing. Takers are predators. So when they get in your life, they want to learn you because they want to learn how they can prey on you. They want to learn how they can push your buttons. They want to learn you in and out because they want to take advantage of you. See, their motive is they're trying to see how you can work for them, or how they can gain from you, how they can get what they want from you. So they're very inquisitive, and they may be silent around you so that you can do all the talking and you can do all the revealing. But what you need to do is flip the script on them. Stop talking about you. Stop revealing yourself to them, because you're giving them access, too much access, and your weak points, and you're making it easier for them. One thing that I noticed is that a lot of people, particularly women, they claim a lower level struggle. And a lower level struggle is a struggle that you don't necessarily have to participate in. So basically, somebody else's drama. That's a lower level struggle. Somebody that refuses to get a job or refuses to work is broke, so they're asking you for money. That's a lower level struggle. I'm not claiming it, and you shouldn't either. Do less for them. Let the people survive. Let them learn how to survive. What's that saying? You give a man a fish and you fed him, but you teach him how to fish, and you've given him a life skill. The saying goes something like that. But yeah, teach him how to fish. Stop taking care of people. If it's not your child, that's a minor. Now, let's be clear about that, because some people have grown kids that they taking care of. If it's not your child that is underage, that needs to be taken care of, do less. You're claiming a lower level struggle, something that does not have to be your problem. And if you're one of those people saying, oh, well, somebody else's problem is my problem because I love them, get out of that. Get out of that headspace. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to believe. Again, if you were to pass away, They would have to learn how to live without you. They're going to find someone else to mooch off of. They're going to find someone else to use. I've seen it with my own eyes. So whether you live or die, it's going to happen. If that person is a taker, they're going to get in their role with the next giver. Get into their role with the next giver. So whether you live or die, it's going to happen. But you have to end that cycle because you want the rest of your life, starting from today, to be the best of your life. And it's just not going to get any better if you continue to live that lower level struggle. So do less. Do less. Do less. Do less for the takers. The takers are ungrateful and they're using you. You're being used. That's one thing I hate, is to see people being used and manipulated. That right there, it boils my blood. I cannot stand it. Maybe because I'm just so aware, but when I see it, it sickens me. It makes me sick to my stomach because I know that deep down, the person who is wearing themselves out for the user, well, they're unaliving themselves slowly. Naturally, now this comes natural for me. I know it doesn't for everybody, but naturally I lose attachment to people who don't reciprocate my energy. And that's because I live by a certain code of ethics. My detachment game is strong. It has to be. It has to be. It has to be strong because at the end of the day, you can't hate a cliff. Well, you shouldn't. Don't hate a cliff. Just don't walk near it or jump off of it. Don't hate the cliff. Just don't go near it. You get what I'm saying? That taker is the cliff. They're going to take you over the edge. If you don't want to be tested and taken over the edge meaning stressed out, overworked, anxious, sick, then don't go near it, and certainly don't jump off of it. The new year will be here soon. I want you to make a list. Make a list of all of the people who are in your life that you feel questionable about, who make you feel stressed out, who make your stomach hurt when they call or when they hit you up. Make a list of those people and make a plan. Make a plan to distance yourself from them slowly but surely. It may start with not answering their calls, but texting them back to get a feel for what it is that they want. And then you can respond when you feel like it. And if you don't want to cut them off, just make sure you cut them back going into 2025. Because what you don't want is another year of the same repeated behaviors. I thought I was done, but I didn't want to leave without telling you about the most important thing that a taker will try to hit you with. And that thing is love bombing. Love bombing, overshowering you with praise to build you up. That's a tactic that takers use sometimes to build you up, blow your head up. Oh, you're so nice. Oh, I knew I loved you from the start. I knew you would figure it out for me. You're always there. You're always so giving. And don't get me wrong, there are people who genuinely give you praise and they genuinely mean it. I'm one of them. I'll tell somebody in a minute how much I appreciate them. But there's a certain discernment that comes It comes naturally to me. Sometimes you have to learn it over time if you can't pick up on it naturally. But I can naturally pick up on when a person is trying to love bomb me because they're a manipulator and they want to take something from me. They want to use something from me, like my resources, or they want to be in my good graces for a particular reason. They have a motive. I can peep out when someone has a motive, and that's why they're trying to gas me up. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. Because I can see straight through it. And if you pay attention, you'll see that a lot of the people who are the takers in your life, when you make that list that I told you to make, you'll start to notice these things, that these people are overly praising you sometimes. And they tend to do that when they're about to do a big ask or have a big request. Just take note of the pattern. You'll see a pattern. I know there was a particular person in my life. They can't get around me now because I'm just unavailable to them once I peeped it. But there was a particular person in my life who would, I noticed that, oh, excuse me, I'm just getting over the flu. This particular person in my life who was in my life, she would come around when her and her man weren't on good terms. And it got to the point where early on, I could tell when she wasn't on good terms with her man, because those would be the only times that she would hit me up. Otherwise, she was a ghost. Couldn't get in contact with her, couldn't get in touch with her. But when her and that man was on bad terms, she was all on my line. And she would be on my line with the love bombing. Oh, you're such a good friend. You're this, you're that. Let's hang out. Let's do this, because see, we don't spend enough time together. And see, that type of relationship, it got to the point where I picked up on her pattern. You're only pumping my head up like you want to be my friend, and you want to be bothered when you and your man on bad terms. Let's just be honest. So that's an example of a taker. She needed a friend. Not a friend. She needed a road dog, a wingman, a hangout buddy when she was lonely and didn't have anything else to do. When she had no use for me, when she was all up under that man, I couldn't reach her. And what really sent my red flag up was there was a time, I'm not looking for anybody to constantly be on call for me or whatever. But there was a time when I was going through something and I reached out to her. And she never even acknowledged me or hit me back, or, even a text. A text is nothing. That's one thing you got to realize. Somebody may overlook one text, two texts, but people tend to lie and say they didn't get your text sometimes. Their phone wasn't working. The biggest lie ever told. It may happen. That may be a one-off when you don't have service, but it's not happening all the time. You just so conveniently don't receive my texts when I'm reaching out to you. There was a particular time all I needed was somebody to talk to. Hey, can we go out? Because when she was always on bad terms with her man, that was when we would hang out and go to a particular restaurant. And so I was needing that girl time. So I had reached out to her because I was going through something. Wasn't available. Didn't even reach back. And that was the end of our relationship. After that, I cut her back. I didn't cut her completely off. I don't hate her. But I was like, yeah, I recognize who you really are. And then, just like clockwork, when her and that man were on bad terms, a month later, she hit me up with the lies, the love bombing. Oh, my phone wasn't working. I didn't know that you texted me. Lies, girl. Lies. It's just that you didn't need me during that time. You never need me unless it's benefiting you. So that is why you were unavailable. And that's what I'm talking about. Some people will take from you. But then when it's your turn, they're nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Now, I wasn't bumming money from her. I didn't need a ride. I didn't need anything but a listening ear, which is what I had been to her so many times, just a listening ear. But if you really want to get funky about it, I was more than a listening ear. Because when we took those trips out, I would treat because she was so down in a rut that I would say, don't worry about it. I got you. So if you really want to get technical about it, she was really gaining more from me than just a listening ear. But that's neither here nor there. You may have heard me refer to females like this in another video as a pick-me. Now, there's lots of content creators who have went deep into what a pick-me is. And it's good content. And I agree solely. That was a pick-me. A pick-me is always going to be a taker. Pick-me always is going to put their friends and family to the side until they need them. Until they need that pick-me-up. So put those on your list. Any of your friends or associates or whoever, those people in your life who you notice are only calling on you when they're down and out, add them to that list. Because you need to cut back on their time. When they do come around, they're going to love bomb you, sweeten you up for the use, sweeten you up for the take. So you just have to be prepared. You got to stay ready out here because people have games with them. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And you got to be aware. And I have so many more examples on this I could go into, but I don't even have enough time. I'll just put them in another video. I'll put them in another one because people have game with them. They're running game. They're running game. Everybody's not running game, but a lot of people are. And you never want to be a victim for as long as you can help it or on the receiving end of their using, of their manipulation, because it's a hurtful place to be, especially when you reflect back and think of all the things that you overlooked because they were good at what they do. And I honestly said here recently, and I truly believed that I couldn't be got. I couldn't be manipulated anymore. But then I was proven wrong. Because as I reflect back over this past year, I say, ooh, I let that slip. Now that time has passed, I can look back and say, I let that one right there slip. Now that I see what the outcome was, now that I can reflect back and see what the outcome was, I'm like, okay, that they slipped that one in. People are good at what they do. People are good at their game. So that's why you have to stay fully aware. And sometimes some things are going to slip through the cracks. But guess what? I've learned something. They won't get away. They're going to have to come harder or stronger the next time because I'm more prepared. I've got my armor on. And now I can say going forward, now I really think that it can't happen again. Because I done seen some more tactics and some more tricks of the devil. But you know what? Come to think of it, I don't even want to say that. I'm not even going to put that out into the universe, because guess what? I don't want the evil forces to even be tempted to try to trick me, because anyone can be humbled. Anyone can get got. But it just gets harder and harder the smarter you are about it and the more aware you are about it. But the tricks are going to come. They're going to form. The weapons are going to form. But if you're smart and discerning, they will never prosper. And I think it's also good to know that sometimes you try to cut back certain people in your life or limit their access, but because of proximity, because of the people that you are closest to, sometimes they just might be around. They might be in your space, but they don't get the same version of you. And it's not that you're matching energy with that. It's just that you are not playing your role of a giver to them. You reserve that for the people that are close to you, that are also givers. So they don't get that giver version of you. They don't get the taker's version of you. They get no version of you. You're cordial to them. They get small talk. That's all they get. You don't have to get involved in what they need or what they want or what they desire from you. They don't even know about you. Play your role and stay in your lane. Get out of their lane. Somebody could be standing right beside you and you're not in their lane. You're not checking for them. You're not checking for them. You're not a victim to them. You're not helping them. You're nothing. You're just there, being you, being a giver to the other givers in your life. But they will never experience that. And they can be right beside you, literally. But they don't get that version of you because you're protecting yourself. And that's what I want you to be on all 2025. Y'all be safe.